Good morning, everyone. Um, we are reading from this wonderful book called The Nectarean Ocean of the Holy Name by His Holiness Sacinandana Swami. And we have been studying the 10 offenses, trying to understand the 10 offenses and avoid those things. We completed 8 offenses so far. We'll just go through what we have covered so far. Number 1, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2, to consider the names of the demigods like Shiva or Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. 5, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination or exaggeration. 6, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karmakanda. And today we are going to learn about ninth offense, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Ashradhane vimukhe api ashunvati. I'm going to start reading this. Often devotees may wonder if they have committed this offense by requesting any person they meet. Well, just say Hare Krishna. It is an Indian greeting. Someone who chants the holy name must have faith. This faith is engendered by Sankirtana, loud chanting of the holy name. If someone has attained faith, he will approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the holy name from him. The term faith has to be understood properly. It means to firmly believe in the glories and the potency of the holy name. A real Vaishnava will not give the holy name to someone lacking this faith, for this person will severely harm his spiritual life by committing offenses. Simultaneously, the person who gave the holy name will lose all his devotional merits and will quickly fall down. But what about all the creatures who are constantly committing this offense by giving the holy name, either orally or in the form of literature, to people who have no real faith? Are they bereft of any chance? No. This offense refers especially to giving the holy name by the means of diksha, initiation. To instruct a faithless person on the glories of the holy name means to initiate him. The habit to accept disciples without having instructed them about spiritual life and having instilled faith in them is a great offense on the part of the Guru. A Guru who behaves like that will fall down and lose all the good results of his spiritual life. Faithless person should first, as mentioned above, gain faith through singing the holy names. After some time, they will approach a spiritual bona fide guru, receive initiation into the holy names, and thus easily attain prema, love of God, the highest goal of life. Although we have heard that this offense is mainly committed by a guru who gives initiation to an unqualified disciple, it also be committed can also be committed by someone who openly speaks about confidential glories of holy name to an unqualified audience. Which now the next section of this particular offense, which persons are unfit to be initiated into the holy name? A faithless person lives in the imagination that after having accepted the holy name, he no longer needs to fear mistakes and sins. He thinks that after initiation, everybody should offer their prostrated obeisances unto him, and that he should be served by others. Such a person is unfit for spiritual life. How then can the faithless be liberated? As already mentioned, he has to develop faith through loud Sankirtana before he can receive the holy name. This means that one should encourage that person to chant the holy name, but without instructing them about the most advanced intimate secrets, as for example, that Krishna dances on the tongue of the chanter. Faithless person cannot understand such topics. At least they will consider it an exaggerated. It is a general principle for preacher to avoid statements which cannot be understood by their audience. For the same reason, one should not confront the beginner with a list of all the offenses against the holy name. First, he should get encouraging instructions. By chanting the holy name, he will slowly be purified and acquire a higher taste, which enables him to gradually desist from material activities and take the offenses more serious. When Srila Prabhupada propagated Krishna consciousness among the hippies in New York, he first encouraged them to chant the holy name. Only later he told them not to take drugs. Thus, one should simply encourage the faithless beginner to accept the spiritual path. Later, when he is established in spiritual life and seek further progress, one can help him to become safe in his path, on his path. When he has developed faith in the chanting of the holy name, he will approach a bona fide guru, accept the holy name from him, and finally attain prema. Even thieves, prostitutes, and scoundrels can give up their sinful mentality and thus gain faith. As soon as their faith has grown firm, they can be instructed about the holy name in detail. In this way, the holy name can be spread everywhere. It is interesting to see that Lord Chaitanya first invoked initial faith in Jagai and Madai before he gave them the holy name. We should not stop encouraging people to chant Hare Krishna, but first of all, we should invoke so much faith in them so that they actually begin to chant with understanding. Then, by chanting, their faith increases and their spiritual life can improve. For the last part, we'll finish this one also. The difference between the chanting of an initiated and a non-initiated devotee. At the date of initiation, the spiritual master establishes a genuine relationship between Jiva and Krishna. Therefore, it is essential in spiritual life to approach a bona fide guru and receive initiation from him. This is advised by Krishna, this paragraph. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. This is from Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter. At the time of initiation, karma and material contamination leave the sincere disciple, and he receives a strong feeling of liberation from his her past. On this level, it is much easier for him to render devotional service. Thus, one should often very thankfully remember the spiritual master who has enabled us to chant with greater strength. Last paragraph. But even chanting in the non initiated stage has its effects. It qualifies one for initiation. Chanting before initiation leads to initiation, and then spiritual life really starts. The spiritual life really starts only after initiation, and before initiation we are just preparing ourselves, uh, getting the ground set so that we can receive the rain and the seed can be sowed so we can start our spiritual life. That's the ninth offense. And Maharaj has given some questions interesting on this page. If anyone wants to recollect, name the different kinds of sin and different stages of sin, and so forth. All right, I'll pause here and we can see if there is any questions, discussions, sharing, realizations, anything. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Dhanyavad, Hare Krishna Srinivas.
Yeah, so in the one of the Bhagavad Gita sloka, Krishna says, "Don't talk about me to the person who is very jealous about me."
Mhm.
So and then don't force him to do any services or anything. But here it's contradicts, right? In this, whatever you read here, it says that you have to encourage even people, the scoundrels or the people who even hate the God, atheist also, right? So how does this take? I mean, how do we understand these contradictory statements?
It's contradictory. Two things. One thing is that here we are talking about, mainly talking about the guru disciple relationship. Yeah.
Okay.
About giving mantra to someone, right? Over here. And what Krishna speaks there is, I made a mistake, Arjuna. You don't make a mistake. I've been speaking so much for almost this many hours of 700 slokas without checking much. I spoken. When you are giving this one, make sure this knowledge is appreciated. You want to talk about these things to people have little bit of interest. If you don't have little bit of interest, you mean in general, don't have little bit of interest, inclination, then whatever you speak, it's just not going to be appreciated. What happens is if they don't appreciate, they're going to criticize or they think bad about it. Then it's a sinful thing for them. So we have to be careful to whom we are telling what we are telling. Just because we know everything, we don't want to share everything also. Mm, that's the message. That's what we have to be careful. There are some Krishna says everywhere, I'm telling you a guhya tamam, I'm telling you most secret thing, and he's putting it in a paper, right? So he's telling we have to be careful in whom we share all this information. But holy name is not that restricted. When that's why we are chanting outside on the streets and everywhere, and so many people are hearing, they're getting benefit, agnagra sukriti, they're getting some benefit out of it. But when it comes to a formal establishment through an initiation process, then that has to be given to those people who really value it, not to anyone and everyone just because they want a holy name or they want to get initiated. They have to have some understanding. Therefore, Sambandha Jnana, the understanding is very important before even get into guru's disciple relationship. That is why here in especially in ISKCON, we have this course called ISKCON Disciple Course, to understand the relationship between guru and disciple and how we have to work on all those different things when educated. Otherwise, one should not. It doesn't make sense otherwise just getting initiated without having any of this knowledge.
So the person who doesn't believe guru shishya relation at all, or in this concept, so we should not talk about it, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't need to talk about it, but you can give some prasadam or some other ways where their heart get purified and able to become a receiver, where you can talk. When you talk, they hear it. You're able to hear. That you can do.
Okay. Thank you.
That is why sometimes what happens when we go to Sankirtan on the streets, devotees carry something offered to Krishna like cookies or something. So there are different types of people. They envious people, whatever they are, they just take a prasadam, eat. When they come next week, maybe they'll be a little receptive.
Got it. Thank you, Prabhu.
To the extreme that even what the book distributors they do is, they don't carry whether they are distributing book or getting the book or selling the book, right? They hand over the book first into their hand. They get touch of that book, Bhagavad Gita. Just imagine, out of millions of atmas, one atma has been able to touch Bhagavad Gita. That touch itself, great. And that's going to turn their life off. Whether they are buying the book or not buying the book, whatever it is, they got touch. I can go to another extreme. Whether they touch or don't touch, here is this ultimate thing. If the devotee, if they see a devotee, not even touching, see a devotee with tilak, with kantimala, that itself a starting point for them. So we appear to them with tilak and kantimala. We are given an opportunity. We don't need to preach. Just walk on the street wearing a tilasi mala, kantimala, and tilak. on your forehead. Just walk on the street. People who just see that, you won't know how much benefit they're going to get. It doesn't matter whether how great we are not great, but they got a darshan, or they got to see a devotee. That Krishna marks it at, oh, he's into my book now. Now slowly from that point, that becomes, and his life turns around. So just imagine, no chanting, no prasadam, no buying book, just looking at a devotee. Just looking at a devotee. Just imagine. And Radharani is so merciful. Even if you don't look, if she looks, that is empowered by a devotee. Even you walk and go, and some devotee's eye falls on that person, Radharani makes, okay, she got a darshan. This fallen soul has got a darshan of my devotee, so I need to take care of this person. Even though he went on went walking, passing this devotee, but my devotee saw him. Therefore, mark it. Can you just imagine how merciful Krishna is? He's just checking all the different opportunity to get to the next stage where he can help us. Anyway, I went beyond what you asked for.
Thank you.
Okay, Krishna Prabhuji. So ninth offense more towards on the initiation, Prabhu. We should not give initiation for the faithless persons.
Yeah.
Not in general.
Yeah. What happens is, sometimes gurus want to make more disciples. They don't do a proper training of a disciple. They don't give it any proper instruction. That's why we are in ISKCON standard is at least 1 year one has to be chanting 16 rounds, following the principles and doing services, and get a recommendation letter from the temple authority, temple president. They're telling, yes, I recommend this person for initiation, and that person is interacting and getting some instruction this past 6 or 12 months from his guru. So they are establishing some relationship. Then the guru is comfortable giving initiation to the disciple. Okay. Anything else? A lot of silence here. Should we continue chanting then? Hare Krishna. Am I?
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Can I chant, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare